Alright. Hear me out. This is So Says MR.THUNDER. I'm Mr. Thunder. And today is Monday, September the 18th. This your first time coming to the podcast? Man, thank you. I appreciate it. For those of you who have come back, I can't thank you enough. I gotta thank God for what's happening here. With this podcast, it's starting to get the attraction that it so rightfully needs, right? And that's just coming from people sharing it, people listening to it, coming back to me, telling me what they get out of the podcast and what it does for them, and everything has been positive. So today, Mr. Thunder, wants to be the example. The example for those who don't know what this podcast is designed to do, and that is to give a good report. For those of you who know me, and maybe I've spoke on it before, this thing is based upon what I believe to be the makings of discipleship, what discipleship was meant to be. And in doing so, the way I understand discipleship is that there's 3 F's involved. One, you got to follow Jesus. You got to fish people. And then you got to fellowship, right? So that is how this, works in the, I guess, a format sense, right? So I want to give you what I got from it, from listening and fellowshipping and following what God has put inside of me, right? And I can only give him the credit because it ain't me. For those of you who don't know, I listen to this podcast. I listen to it multiple times so that I know that I'm putting out there what God has for me to share and speak through me, because this ain't about me. I can't say it enough. This is definitely not about me, but this is what I've been called to do, and this is my purpose. So I'm walking in it, right? So I'm just doing what I've been told. So after doing that discipleship, there's something that happens to you. You get poured into, and you gotta go ahead and give a good report, right? And in that good report, just like with discipleship, there's 3 R's. In this report, I call it the 3 R's. You receive it, you get revelation, and then you report. So let me say that again. In discipleship, you have 3 F's. You follow Jesus, you fish people, and then you fellowship. After that, you receive, you have a revelation, and then you report. And this today is going to be the example of what happens when friends, family, and people that I don't know report back to me what they have gotten from the podcast. So I'm just gonna give you guys a good report, and I want to talk about revelation. And revelation is something that is a very powerful tool that you need to unlock a blessing. So you got to have a revelation to unlock your blessing, right? Revelation, by definition, is a surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. Revelation, a surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. So for me and my good report, I just kind of want to talk about the revelation that I had by doing this podcast, listening to other people's good report, and just following the principles of discipleship by following, fishing, and fellowshipping, and then receiving revelation and report. So for me, I've been trying to work on perfecting my craft, my purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing here during my time in the physical, right? Because I'm a believer. I'm not a Bible thumper or anything like that. So please don't take it as I'm trying to preach. I'm just speaking what's been put on to me through what I'm doing. So in the last couple weeks, this podcast has been getting traction, and I've been getting a lot of feedback, and that feedback has always come through fellowship, and I receive a message that's so clear that it always reveals a revelation to me, and then I have to report back, and this is one of them, right? So the common theme that I've been receiving in my revelations when I'm having fellowship is that people are starting to understand what purpose is. And even though they may know it, they may not believe it, they may not really think that they're supposed to be doing something. But as they continue to talk, with me or listen to the podcast, these good reports that I'm receiving are always about a revelation that happens to them. Now, they may not describe it in that term, but that's the word that I can use, because it's almost like they surprise themselves that they're able to think about something, process it, and then put it to work, so that when they do it, now they know, right? They do it, now they know. You don't know until you do. But that revelation opens up your mind to thinking in different ways and things like that allow you to make good decisions. And I'm a firm believer that if revelation doesn't happen, then you don't have no direction. You just don't know what to do. The last 3 real deep conversations that I've had with people in private, I've shared with them things. They've asked me questions about why I'm doing the podcast, how can they be a part of it, how they think it's dope, how they feel about it. It's always good. And, I always share with them that the revelation that God put upon me was that it ain't for me. It's for you. It's for everybody. And, that's why I don't have any, I guess, marketing scheme or anything like that to get this out here, because I believe it's gonna, seeds have been planted, gardens are being watered, are constantly being fed nutrients, and this thing it's just gonna sprout in its season, and it's gonna bear good fruit, right? And it's all behind discipleship that I've had with people, and then giving a good report, right? Um, I don't ask anybody to do me any favors. I don't ask anybody to do something that they don't want to do. I put everything on the line. I'm very transparent about what I'm doing. And if you've been listening to this podcast, you understand that I like to think I'm a real motherfucker. Like, I believe that I'm a real person that has real conversation, that lives a real life, that understands that other people have their own reality, and I don't have to live in theirs, but I have to be able to operate accordingly and be the best version of me when it comes down to it. And that's how I navigate this world. So that's me in a nutshell, and that's what I believe in. But the one thing I'm gonna ask you all. Well, no, let me back up. I'm not gonna ask you. Now, if you've been paying attention, I've always asked my guests a question. Like, if there's one thing that you could leave with, like, people focus on, or you could point out in this good report, what would it be? And mine is going to be unlocking your blessings with revelation. I believe that when you have a revelation, it's meant for you to use it as a tool to unlock your blessing. What is your blessing? What is your relationship with God? What is your relationship with people? Do you seek and practice discipleship? Do you follow, fish, and fellowship? And when doing so, do you receive revelation and report? That's what life is about. That's what this podcast is about. Has there been a time where you received a revelation and it allowed you to unlock the blessing that God has for you? I believe that this podcast is going to be something very, very powerful. And it's on you to use it for what it's meant for. It may not be for you right now, it might not be for you later. But just know that it's here and it ain't going nowhere. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I am Mr. Thunder. I am a Native American of this country, and in the damn thing you can do about it. I thank you for being a part of this, spending a little bit of time with me, just listening to something that has been put upon me by no one other than the higher power of God. And if you don't believe in God, you gotta believe in something. But let that something be your drive and motivation so that you can receive revelation. Go ahead and follow the Instagram page, So Says Mr. Thunder. I figured out how to put this thing on YouTube, so it's on YouTube under So Says Mr. Thunder. I got a couple episodes on there, but everyone is going to take you down a rabbit hole to where only you know what you need to think and do when it comes down time to it. So you can be anywhere and listen to me. I can be found on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Spreaker is the platform that I'm currently using. Spotify. Man, honestly, I don't even know. I haven't checked yet, but you might be able to Google me even. That would be cool. So that's something I'm working on. I thank you. I appreciate you. And please don't ignore your revelation.